What's up, beautiful ladies and handsome men? I am not sure what's true or false in this story. I take gossip, tea, rumor, and scandal from yesteryear, from online, from word of mouth, from books, and I ball it up and I tell you guys a story. Now, let's get to it.
What it do? What's going on, SaysSo squad? This is Ashley with SaysSo, and I am back with another old Hollywood scandals video. And baby, let me tell y'all about it. Y'all already know how I feel about Aretha, Shaka, Patti LaBelle, Frankie Lyman, David Ruffin. Y'all know how I feel about these people. Baby, Miss Candi Staton has walked her little way into my heart too. I absolutely love a person who can admit to their past but still understand that that past does not define them today, and Miss Candi Staton is like that. Her tea can really help other people, and not only that, it is scalding hot. Baby, it makes some of these other stories look like children's stories on the playground, honey. Child, let's not waste no more time, baby. Let's get to it, Miss Candi Staton. Canzetta Maria Staton was born on March 13th, 1940 in Huntsville, Alabama. Her mother's name was Rosie and her father's name was Ursie. She also had at least 3 siblings, one of them being a sister named Maggie. Now, while Canzetta, which I'm going to start calling her Candi, while Candi was still very, very young, probably around 6, 7, 8 years old, she started to teach herself how to sing. She and her sister Maggie would be getting on their mother's nerves out in the front yard, yelling, hollering, playing on drums, basically having a full-blown pretend gospel revival in the front yard. So of course these were very fun times for the girls, but soon a shadow came over Candi's life, and that is when she was assaulted by a family member or a friend of the family. Now, while I don't know the identity of the person who assaulted Candi, I can tell you that her father Ursie also brought a lot of trouble into the home because he used to drink all the time, and he also used to gamble his money away as well as beat on his wife. And his wife Rosie was totally different from that. She was a very God-fearing woman, so her husband's behavior used to upset her a lot. And one day she picked up her children and she ended up moving up north. When she got there, she found that her daughters Candi and Maggie were still very serious about becoming singers. So she found a Christian private school in Nashville whom had a lady as an overseer, and this lady supposedly made gospel legends. So Rosie made the decision to send her daughters down to Nashville. Once Candi and Maggie arrived in Nashville, they were paired with another young girl by the name of Naomi, and they became the Jewel Gospel Trio. And these girls immediately had a great 3-part harmony. So right off the bat, they were lighting the gospel circuit up. I mean, they met Aretha and C.L. Franklin, they met Clara Ward, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. They even met the most famous singer of all at that time, Miss Mahalia Jackson. But there was a problem. These children were being abused behind closed doors. Not so much Naomi, because gossip claims that she was the overseer's granddaughter. But Maggie and Candi, nobody was even feeding these girls. They would be eating like cheese crackers for 2 or 3 days in a row if they ate anything at all. Not only that, the overseer or nobody else would ever buy the girls any clothes, so they would be raggedy, you know, raggedy underwears, raggedy clothes, just treated badly, while all of these adults were reaping all of the big money from sending these girls on gospel tours. The neglect got so bad that one day Candi ended up getting a toothache that turned into a deep cavity and eventually a gum infection. The overseer wouldn't even spend enough money to send Candi to the dentist, so this child would have to go out there and sing in front of crowds, and her face would be swollen and hurting. Gossip claims that one night it got so bad that Candi just would not even get up out of the bed. You know, she just laid there screaming and screaming, and so the overseer is like, you know, oh my God, it cannot be that bad. Bring her in here to me. And so her assistant went and got Candi, and she brought her in there to the overseer. The overseer tells Candi, put your head back and open your mouth wide. Candi does what she is told, and baby, this overseer lady takes a jug of lye, the cleaning agent, take a bottle of lye and pour it down this girl's mouth, talking about she heard on the streets that lye would kill the nerve agents in the tooth so the tooth wouldn't ache anymore. Baby, they say Candi's throat was burnt to a crisp, child. Said that child started screaming and hollering, and it took people to cover her mouth so the neighbors wouldn't hear. Now, this little neglect right here was a step too far. Gossip claims that one of the overseer's assistants ended up going outside or sneaking outside of the household and calling 911 to report that it was some children being abused. So when the law enforcement got involved, this is when Candi and Maggie were sent back home with their mother. Now, even though Candi was no longer with the overseer, this does not mean that she stopped singing her gospel music and going around to different churches to sing. In fact, gossip claims she did that well into her teen years. In fact, she was doing that when she ran into a handsome young gospel singer by the name of Lou Rawls. She and Lou immediately hit it off, honey. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, and Candi actually thought that they were going to get married, but Lou's mother pulled her to the side and basically told her, girl, you don't want my son because my son is not going to be serious with you. This boy got a girl in every city. You don't want to marry him. And so when Candi heard that, she backed up off of the relationship. She told everybody that she was now only going to focus on her singing, but even more than that, she was going to focus on her schoolwork so she could graduate. And she probably did try to focus on her schoolwork. But see, now Candi was around 16, 17 years old, so when she went back to her high school, baby, some of them young boys had turned into some cats. And you know them cats, honey, they slick talking, they get into a young girl's ear looking good and all that. Baby, them young girls don't stand a chance, and Candi was one of them, especially when a local preacher man's son by the name of Joe Williams got up in her ear, and then Joe Williams had a car. Oh, baby, Candi lost her doggone mind. Child, the folks say that Candi went from singing Jesus is all right to Joe, give me that pipe. Because gossip claims that she was in the back of that doggone car almost every night, just rocking and rolling, honey. And that's not the only thing her little behind was doing. Baby, she had started drinking and smoking weed and cigarettes, staying out all night. So, of course, this type of behavior leads to something else. So by the time Candi was 19, she also was pregnant, and the year was 1959. Now, Candi may have been living reckless, but she still wanted to do the Christian thing. And as I stated before, Joe Williams was the son of a preacher man, so he and Candi ended up getting married in the year 1960. And honey, Joe started acting like Candi's TT was made of sunshine, baby, and said that he had to get a tan every night. Because next thing you know, he kept Candi pregnant. Baby, Candi had a baby almost every doggone year. Before you know it, the woman had 4 doggone children. And at first, Candi thought this little behavior was cute. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, my man, he can't get enough of me. But then she started to notice that there was something more sinister behind it. That Joe really was trying to keep her barefoot and pregnant, because Joe became a very, very jealous man. Baby, these folks said if Candi Staton went to the store, by the time she got home, Joe would be somewhere leaned up across the counter talking about some, what's his name and number? Who was you sitting up there busting it wide open for? And before Candi could even answer, Joe would beat and accuse the woman of sleeping with about 5 or 6 men that day. And truly, things just got worse from there. Like, Candi could not leave the house without telling him where she was going. You know, he had on a timer pretty much. Baby, if the woman went into the next room, Joe probably was coming in there looking in closets, trying to make sure that she was not meeting another man. But even though this was getting on Candi's nerves, you know, she wanted to do the Christian thing and keep her family together. That is until one night, Candi Staton was laid in the bed asleep. Not only is Candi lying on the bed, she has her newest baby lying beside her. And so Candi is just asleep, and she's dreaming that she is on a ship in the middle of the ocean, just rocking and waving. And Candi is in her dream, and she is praying that this ship does not flip over. Well, before you know it, in her dream, the ship does start flipping over. Candi wakes up, and baby, she really is flipping over. Joe crazy tail then came home in the middle of the night, thinking that Candi been cheating on him, got over there and flipped Candi, and they swoop head baby out that doggone bed. And so Candi is like, what the heck is going on? But before she can even really ask that question, Joe tells her what's going on with his doggone fist. And after beating her into a pulp, he tries to pull her outside, telling her, you need to get in the truck with me. We got somewhere to go. Honey, by the time Joe got Candi to that doggone front door, all kind of furniture was at the front door with them, because she had been trying to hold on to the furniture when he was pulling her, because she was sure if he would have got her in that car, he would have killed her. And so, like I said, Candi is drugged to the front door, you know, and she has to let go of the furniture because it's hurting her arms. So she lets go, and Joe drags her outside. When she gets outside, she gets up on her feet in some type of way, snatches the keys out of his hand. She runs towards a huge bush that's in their yard, and she tosses the keys in the bush, and then she runs to the neighbor's house, and she calls the police. After this doggone episode, Candi said, Christian family be damned, honey. She wasn't finna stay with that doggone man. He was trying to kill her. And so she found herself a young single woman with 4 children. And so she tried to get a regular job. Some gossip even claims she tried to be a nurse, but what she really wanted to do was sing. Rumor has it that she had a cousin or somebody who was kind of connected just a little bit to the singer Clarence Carter. And Clarence Carter, for those of you who don't know, is the singer that sang Slip Away, yes sir, slip away. And he also sang I Be Stroking. What you be doing, Clarence? He be stroking. Well, like Clarence's song say, he be stroking. So once Candi was brought to sing for him and he heard her voice, he wanted to be stroking her too. So here come all the compliments, you know, dang girl, who told you to sing like that? Girl, you got the best voice on the market. You think so? Boy, ain't nobody told me to sing like that. Clarence, you so crazy. And so as they go on like this, all of this chatting and rubbing up of the shoulders and all this kind of stuff, Clarence and Candi become very close. And it doesn't matter that he's a blind man. You know what I'm saying? She likes his personality. So eventually they start touring together, singing together, and they become very, very close. And then in 1970, they ended up getting married. And gossip claims that they really did enjoy each other. You know, like I said, they continued touring and singing. They both were bringing in good money. But then somewhere along the line, Candi, I don't know if she became more popular than him, but I know for a fact at one point in time she started making more money than him. And Clarence started to show his weeble wobble blind behind. Honey, they said out of the blue, Clarence Carter just stopped paying the bills. All of a sudden he felt no need to pay the bill. Not only that, when he used to take Candi on tour with him and they used to join their tours together, now he didn't want to do that no more. He basically started treating her almost like a roommate. And so even though things started to get rocky, Candi still ended up getting pregnant with Clarence's son. And if Clarence was showing a little bit of his behind before, oh baby, now that that child was born, Clarence's whole tail was hanging out. Now he would not talk to Candi at all except for hi and bye. Not only that, he also started making her check in, telling her what time she could leave the house, and if she did leave the house, telling her that she needed to be home by 9 p.m. Well, soon Clarence ends up hiring another singer. This is a young, beautiful woman, and he ended up messing around with this singer. And Candi tells him straight up, you need to fire her. I ain't firing nobody. This my band. You don't tell me how to run my business. And so Candi is like, okay. She has a family meeting. It's really just her and Clarence. They have a couple meeting in their kitchen, and she sits him down and she tells him, hey, I'm tired of following these stupid rules. You want me to be in at 9 p.m. and stuff like that, but you're the one out cheating. You won't get rid of the singer. So that's it. I'm done. I want a divorce. As soon as Candi says this, it's like something changes in Clarence. He kind of tilts his head to the side and he basically gives her a look, a loving look that he's given her many times before. So Candi's heart starts to melt because she knows what this look means. She knows they're about to make up. So Clarence gets up from the table and he starts walking towards his wife, and then Candi gets up from where she's sitting across from him, and they start to embrace for a hug. Baby, they said Clarence Carter started breaking Candi's back, child, trying to squeeze that woman to death. And so Candi is like, Then Clarence let her go and drop her to the floor and started beating that woman's face in. Honey, Candi sitting on the floor telling me something, I thought you was smiling. I thought that was a smile. The sad thing about it is that it was a smile. Clarence know he wrong, baby. The folks say that he was sitting up there smiling, trying to get that woman comfortable, then got by that woman and started beating her tail. And it's really sad because while this was going on in Candi's personal side of her life, her professional start of her life was really getting started. She had two pretty good hits, one of them called Stand By Your Man and the other one called In the Ghetto. So in her public life, she really was starting to be a shining star. Now, allegedly, after this episode, Candi ended up leaving the house and leaving Clarence, and also with this being her second marriage to go up in flames, rumor has it that Candi started to drink. She also started to kind of have problems trying to navigate show business alone without anybody to really protect her. And so a lot of the times when she would have to go do these shows, a lot of the promoters would try to throw themselves on her, and I don't think she ever actually got molested or sexually assaulted, but these are things that she had to try to dodge from happening. Then she also had a certain guilt that she was not really the mother that she felt she needed to be to her kids, and so that guilt would kind of eat her up. So rumor has it, after the whole thing with Clarence Carter, she was put up in a hotel room and she ended up taking 25 sleeping pills and immediately started doing jumping jacks, baby, started sticking her finger down her throat, started punching herself in the stomach and everything. Baby, they say Candi was running all around that doggone hotel room talking some, Lord, help me. Help me. I don't know why I done that. I was just being over dramatic. Help me, Lord. Eventually, she ended up laying down on the floor and she just, kind of set to die. She didn't want to die, but she was like, what else could she do? And so she was crying so hard. Y'all know how you cry like just so hard that you make yourself sick? And that is what happened. She made herself sick. And so that is when she ran to the toilet and she saw that she threw up all 25 pills. After this, Candi Staton vowed that she was going to get her life back on track, not only for her singing career, but also what she needed to do in Christ. But she ended up spending time with a new man, and she found out that what she thought was rock bottom was not rock bottom at all. Now, sources differ over this man's name. Some folks call him Jimmy, some folks call him James. I'm gonna call him Jay because I don't know his name. Yes, Ashley, I was rhyming, doggone it. Anyway, this guy Jay was allegedly some pretty big businessman in the industry. I think he was a promoter or something like that. And Candi started to hang out with him on a friend level. But right from the start, Jay wanted more than that. He wanted to be her man. Candi, however, did not find him that attractive. So she just was not trying to really get with him like that. So Candi felt like, let me just invite him over one night, put this kapling plow on him, and then kind of just like run away from him. So basically she gave him some sympathy, TT. Well, the folks say that next morning when they woke up, Jay told her, hey Candi, I'm about to leave. I know you want me gone, but before I do, let me fix you some breakfast. And so Candi is like, oh my God, yeah, okay, yeah, please go fix me breakfast. That will be nice. Thanks, Jay. Honey, that man brought that breakfast back to the bedroom, picked up the coffee, gave it to Candi. Candi took a sip of that coffee. As soon as she put the coffee down, she told this man straight in his face, don't you want to marry me? Well, we can get married now. What? Sound like some witchcraft hokey pokey, don't it? Gossip claims that many people feel like it was. Honey, Candi went from not wanting this man to be around just 10 minutes before to now agreeing to marry this man. And not only that, she found herself unable to say no to this man almost ever again. Candi does end up marrying Jay, and her children hate it. They cannot stand this man. But it doesn't matter what her children say. She can't say no to Jay. Even when he's using all her money, buying brand new flashy $1,000 suit, brand new shoes, watches, can't say no. Even when he starts telling her that he should be able to go out on stage before she goes out there and singing his own songs. He should be able to promote himself and do it on her tour. Candi cannot say no, and it is a disaster. Baby, Jay walks out on that stage.
Honey, you are my shining star, don't you?
The audience sitting up there like, oh, babe, I know you lying. I have not paid for this man to be sitting up here singing to me sounding like this. These folks is booing, throwing tissue on stage, plates, and everything. They are angry at his singing. That's how bad Jay was. So they would be in a complete bad mood by the time Candi got on the stage. And she would have to work a lot harder to get this audience back into the groove of things, if she could at all. So this definitely started to affect her career, but this is just half of it. Whenever she had to do promo tours or have meetings with radio DJs, Jay would ruin that. He would walk in there like he owned everything. I'm Candi's manager, and if it don't go like this, we ain't doing that. So he got into plenty of fights, sometimes verbal, and fist fights with a bunch of famous big time DJs. You think they gonna play Candi's records after her dude then got into a fight with him? No. Soon, all of this bad behavior came to a head, and even Candi's record label, Warner Brothers, called her to the office and told her, Candi, if you cannot get a handle on him, we will drop you. So from then on, Jay stopped trying to fight radio DJs because he didn't want to mess up their money, but he still would get his scooped up and scooped out head on a doggone stage trying to sing. That also came to a head. Baby, listen at this. I think by this time, Candi's biggest song, Young Hearts Run Free, had been released. So she was putting on these shows and everybody was showing up. So Candi goes on stage, does a magnificent show. Soon as she leaves, Jay sneaks his little behind on stage and starts to sing one of his ratchet behind songs. The audience behaves the way they always behave when this guy sings. I don't know why he does not get the picture that he can't sing, but for whatever the case, he does not get the picture. So he continues to sing while the audience is booing. You know, people are upset, once again throwing things on stage. Well, the promoter at this club is not having it. I'm guessing this might have been a high-end club. I don't know. But whatever the case, he goes and he finds Candi and he tells her, you need to get him off the stage right now. If you don't, I'm not paying you 1 red cent. So Candi goes to the side of the stage and she's like, Jay, shh, hey, cut the show off. Come on. He doesn't listen to her. So finally, she turns to the band leader and she tells the band leader, just cut off the music. Just cut off the music and come on off the stage. This is what the band leader does. The whole band just stops playing, packs up everything, and goes off the stage. So Jay goes stumping outside where they're loading up the tour bus. He goes up in the band leader's face and he's like, hey man, you tried to embarrass me in front of all these people. Don't nobody do me that way. And Candi is like, oh my Lord, it's finna be a fight. So she gets in front of the band leader and she tells her husband, Jay, it's not their fault. I told them to stop playing because the promoter said he wanted you to get off the stage. As soon as this woman gets the words out of her mouth, Jay grabs her by the shoulders like this, takes her and slams her up against the bus door, pulls out a gun and has it directly at her nose and tells her, I'm going to kill you. Don't nobody embarrass me like that. Candi is so stunned, she barely can't even speak except to say, you know, please don't kill me. Well, it just so happens some of Candi's fans then took their little skippy heads and tried to sneak around the back for an autograph. Honey, them folks walk back there all giggling and laughing, and when they do, they startle Jay, so he turns around like this and the gun is pointed at them. Baby, next thing you know, all you see is a pen and paper on the ground. Them little audience members, they done got the heck out of there. Probably didn't never go to a Candi show again. That man had scared them half to death. Once again, he was ruining her name. Now she has fans that has seen her husband holding a gun to her face. And these are just the big episodes that I'm telling you about dealing with this man, Jay. In between these episodes of him pulling guns out on Candi in front of folks and all this kind of stuff, he's like constantly beating on her too. Like she is in a true abusive relationship. Then we get to the worst moment yet. Allegedly, in the mid-1970s, Candi's mother gets sick. Now, she is back in Alabama at this time, so Candi goes down to Alabama to be with her mother. Well, Jay, her husband, he thinks he's a pimp. You know what I'm saying? He a Mac daddy. He got on all these rings, fresh suits. So this is not the scene for him. He wants to be New York, Chicago, Ohio, places like that. He don't want to be down in no down south Alabama. So he lets Candi visit with her mother for a few days, but then soon after that, he tells her, hey, it's time to go. I don't want to live down here. And Candi looks at him like, nigga, do you know who you talking to? My mother is sick. I'm not leaving my mama down here. Wham! Before you know it, Candi was on the floor with them little birds flying across her doggone head. She got up and started trying to run outside to go get into the car, but when she crunked it up and started to drive away, Jay pulled out a gun and started busting caps at the car. Well, Candi, seeing all of this happen, somehow she got some kind of strength from God or somebody, child, and so she stops the car and she gets out of the car. This time, Candi is not scared. She tells him, you know, kill me. If you're gonna kill me now. All I know is that he took his pistol, put it back like this, and then grabbed Candi by the hair and started pistol whipping her in her face. After he's done, Jay jumps in the car and he takes off before the police gets there. And Candi is 100% relieved because she is finally away from this man. By the time this third marriage was over, Candi Staton's mental state was a complete wreck. And not only was she drinking, now she was doing drugs, she was doing cocaine. Like, Candi was just out there. And baby, you talking about tail open wide and outside. Gossip claims that Candi's was. Rumor on the street says that Candi Staton started swinging and everything. Baby said that she messed around with several men. Gossip claims that she started messing around with Al Green, and it's alleged that he also bust her upside the head a couple of times. The folks say that Teddy came into her room a few times talking about something, turn off the lights and light a candle. And what? Child. The folks say that Eddie Levert got a little taste of the candy cane too. And rumor has it that there were several more entertainers as well as businessmen behind the scene. Gossip claims that Candi just felt like, F it. She wanted to get her life right with God. It's not like she just threw Christianity or God away. she just was so depressed because all of the choices that she had made so far. So I guess she kind of felt like she was down here, so her behavior started to match that. Well, gossip claims that she ran across a man by the name of John Suswell. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Now, John Suswell was totally different from all of the other guys that she had married, messed with. He was in the entertainment business. Gossip claims that he was like the best drummer around, but it's also claimed that he did not live that celebrity life. Well, he and Candi ended up meeting, and she heard that he was a great drummer, so she got him to work on one of her albums. And from that point on, they pretty much got close to each other, and her children absolutely loved him. They had a great relationship. This was the guy for Candi, so they ended up getting married in the year of 1980. Oh, Candi was riding high. She and her drummer husband would tour together. They were bringing in money. She was having a good life with a good man. And then they went to do some shows in New York. It was their first week there. Their shows had all done so well. Candi told John that she would be right back because her manager had set up a promotional appearance. Candi goes and she signs all of the pictures, posters, and she ends up making her way back to the hotel room. When she gets in there, she cannot find John. Now, Candi does not panic at first. You know what I'm saying? Maybe her man went to get something to eat. Maybe he went shopping. There's no telling where he went. But then, after about 12 hours had passed, she does wonder where he is because they have a show that very next day. Well, showtime comes and John is still a no-show. Luckily, she has somebody else there that can play the drums for her. So the show goes off without a hitch. Candi comes back to the hotel room. John is still not there. Candi is now losing her mind. Where is her husband? So when she does not know what else to do, she ends up calling John's mother. And she's like, hey, Mama Suswell, I can't find John. I don't know where he is. The first words out of John's mother's mouth is, where are y'all? Well, Mama, we in the hotel, but I mean, John is not here. I don't know. The mama cuts her off. Candi, baby, where are y'all? And Candi just continues to run off at the mouth. You know, Mama, I don't know. I think he might be dead. I don't know what's going on. John's mama is like, Candi, baby, listen to me. I said, where are y'all? What city are y'all in? And Candi is like, huh? Well, Mama Suswell, we're in New York. The next time John's mama responded, she was serious as all get out. And the only thing she told Candi is, well, Candi, baby, he probably won't be back tonight. Do you got your money with you? Did you let John keep your money? And Candi says, well, yeah, it's in the safe. We put the money in the safe. And John's mama says, go look in the safe and see if your money's still there. Candi does what she's told, and baby, she opens up that safe and all of her money that she's worked hard for is gone. Turns out John Suswell is hooked on cocaine, and he has taken all of his wife's money and is now on a cocaine bench out there on the street somewhere. Candi cannot believe it. I mean, she does not understand. He seemed perfect for her. And so when John finally comes back to the hotel room, Candi pretty much confronts him. And he starts crying and he starts telling her, you know, but if you leave me, I'll kill myself. You know, I do have a problem with cocaine, but I'm trying, Candi, I'm trying. And so Candi does not end up leaving her husband. She basically starts to drink even more, and he just does his cocaine. She just makes sure that she never leaves him with all of the money again. So basically, she and John just start getting deeper and deeper into this world of addiction. Even when Candi's hands and feet would start to swell, she would start to see hallucinations of spiders crawling on the wall. She still would not stop drinking alcohol, and John would not stop doing his cocaine. The folks say that this behavior continued with the couple for about 2 to 3 years until one day, I think in 1983, Candi and John ended up going to a bar on a date. And Candi tried to get up off the bar stool, but she was so drunk, she was slipping and falling, and she basically was embarrassing herself. And gossip claims it was on that night that she finally got on her knees and she prayed to God and she told God, I'm sick of this life. Whatever I need to get rid of, please take it away from me. And she did indeed get off of alcohol. Not only did she get off of alcohol, she prayed for her husband, and John ended up getting off of cocaine. She got away from singing secular music, like she turned her life all the way around. As a matter of fact, she started to be on TV with Jim Bakker and his wife. But for some reason, Candi Staton's life just could never stay on the up and up, at least not where relationships were concerned. Because gossip claims that in the year of 1997, John Suswell stopped doing his part. Like, he stopped bringing any kind of money in, he got lazy, and Candi thought that was a problem. But what the real problem was is that John started to kind of creep back onto drugs. But this time, Candi was not staying around for it. She basically cut him out of her life immediately, and in the year of 1998, they ended up getting a divorce. She vowed once again that she would never ever get married again, but then in 2010, she ended up meeting ex-professional baseball player Otis Nixon. Now, gossip claims that Candi was warned by almost everybody that Otis Nixon has a drug problem. Otis Nixon is not the man that he appears to be. You know, he puts on this face for you, but Candi, please don't marry this man. He's already married Pebbles and drug her doggone tail through the mud. Do not marry this man. But Candi had fallen in love with Otis Nixon. Child, that woman married Otis Nixon in 2010. Soon after that, he was embarrassing Candi all over the place. Otis' face was all in the newspaper getting busted for drugs. The man was acting a fool. It was a disaster. So by 2012, they were divorced. Candi Staton did what she does so well. She picked herself up and she brushed herself off, and she continued to live her life. You know, gossip claims that she is now very much safe and sanctified. You know, she still does some touring, I think, with her secular music. She lives her life to the fullest, and she even gave love another try. She met a man named Henry Hooper, and rumor has it that she either married him in 2017 or 2018. As far as I know, she and Henry Hooper are still going very strong. I don't think this guy has any drug problems. I don't think he's beating on her. I hope not. It really seems like her life is finally on track. She really seems happy now. And Lord knows, I hope she is, because she deserves it. I don't know about y'all, but before this research and this video, I didn't even know who Candi Staton was, okay? So I am so happy to hear about this woman, because first of all, she can sing. Second of all, her story is absolutely scalding hot. This is the end of the old Hollywood scandalous tale of Miss Candi Staton. And Black Panther, don't worry, I got you coming up soon. Love y'all so much. Bye, y'all.